Hi everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. What we've spoken about over many months now is our elevated platform of living. And every now and then we throw in a little bit of magic and a bit more mischief, and we all end up circling around that elevated platform and not even touching it. What we're about to do is expand that world of magic and miracles, so that we can all fit. Right now, it's stemmed a little bit by our sense of reality. And so it needs understanding. To expand it, all you do is drop the understanding, and the limits of reality will disappear. And then all of a sudden it's 1 trillion times bigger because it has no limits. As we do that, you will find the most natural things in the world come to you freely and without effort. The elevation will be maintained without effort. And the lightness of your being will be supported by the movement of this massive area that has no limits at all, no measurement, and no formalities. So the little bit of mischief grows into much. Lots of mischief, lots of outlandish movement and speech. The way we interact with one another will become much freer and much enhanced by the miracles that keep flowing from each one of us. We're about to actually take on everything we spoke about last week. Everything that is our own gift to us. And we're about to take it on because we have plenty of room. We have room for movement, we have room for the impossible, we have room for magic, and most certainly lots of room for miracles. There will be those who want to understand, but as we move past that understanding, the limits will disappear. Every component of this new world that you are about to open up to exist in different planes. Every component exists somewhere, but not here. Our ability to have our reality move into all sorts of places without us going strange or disappearing or finding that we've done something that puts us in another dimension and we can't get out. We're just about to flow through it all. And the magic is the very thing that converts the impossible into reality. Not into possibility, but into reality. So every time there is a need for anything to be fulfilled before you even think about it. So now we get to the point of, so what do I do with myself if I don't have to do anything? You'll be so busy because of so many other actions, so many other joyful things that attract you, that you won't know you're doing nothing. The do has to go out of the formula. Reflex action, reflex response. action before events, because we're breaking the barrier of time, would be quite common with everyone. So you answer people's questions before they ask them. That used to freak everybody out, but everyone's getting used to it now. And quite often we'll say, oh, that's okay, I'll do that. And the person goes, I haven't told you yet. But we're getting used to it. We know that we're projecting past that so-called linear barrier. As we open up further the world of magic and miracles, and we give ourselves a chance to actually do what we don't have to think about, we'll be following our own spirit all the time. It will just be out there in front of us because it's paving the way through what I might call a manufactured reality, where it doesn't have any rules. And because the only definition we have for that spirit is everything that's good, it doesn't even know what our definition is. It doesn't know there's any barriers. And it only expresses love and joy and youth and enhancement and all those great things that we're all good at. So we'll never get led astray because it's our spirit. And we're not following anybody else's. We're following the dance that our spirit has with everyone else's. So as I progress each week, I can see that the vision that everybody gets is becoming more and more brilliant. It doesn't have even the influences of the world as its cover anymore. It's simply breaking loose and finding that it was never trapped anyway. It's like the walls have disappeared from the house and you can walk straight through the middle. So each person is experiencing it all in a different way. But the objection that comes up within them is a thing that I look at and I know it's passing through. It's sort of bubbling off like you bubble off water. It's coming to the surface and everyone thinks it's real. But then all of a sudden something else happens and it's gone. And you can't even remember. So as the habits appear, they will bubble through your system and they might come from something that somebody else has observed. You may get rid of everything and be really good, and then someone will walk up and reflect the picture that you used to have of yourself. And so you go, oh, there it is again. There's another one to bubble off. And I can see it happening through all the people that I know and through looking at a distance to even the people walking down the street. It's totally mobile now and it's not sticky the way it was. So even though we've been sitting above it all, there's no problem moving down into it. Providing, once again, you're on top of the trampoline. You can stretch it down as far as you like, and if anything goes wrong, you just relax and it'll shoot you up in the air. So I'm encouraging everybody to revisit what you thought was a very sticky world. It's not. It's actually false. And it's breaking loose because we're making more room. We're making more room in our world of magic and miracles. So the fixed pictures are not fixed. As we allow that sense inside us that allows us to be visionary, to grow things, to see past everything, to just enhance even the picture we're looking at. As we increase that and give permission for it to go further, our whole existence changes, because we start to be able to see from all other dimensions. We start to be able to see through the eyes of the masters. And we see that what they had to do, we don't have to do. It's already done. And then you see that you are in a privileged place of not having to do anything. It's already set up. So you can go around the cycle as many times as you like, but each time you move into an area that has a fixed picture, you'll find it will gradually disintegrate as you move forward, and it won't touch you at all. Unless, of course, you decide to build yourself into it, like painting yourself in the corner, and you have to wait for the paint to dry. But I don't think there'll be many of those mistakes made anymore, painting yourself into a corner where you can't move. Because you'll just rise above it and you won't have to walk across the paint at all. It sounds a little bit like I'm talking in hieroglyphics, but that's what it's about. And that's why we can talk and send 1 million messages at once to everybody, and they don't have to get the words right. They get the message, they get the feeling. They actually have a sense of understanding, even though you can't capture anything. So where we're going with magic and miracles is into everything, no matter what it is. You'll be surprised how many things either fail or change or come good that you didn't expect. The things that are around you will change because you have more influence. And that influence can be a glitch sometimes, or something really good another time. Or it can be permanently a great flow where everything's in harmony. We're able to play with those things and not focus on them, because we're making more room for it all, for every part of it. We'll play with physical things and make them do what they're not supposed to do. And we'll play with our own abilities so that we can see that we made something happen and we don't have to prove it. We'll see that our life is brilliant because we said it is. Because we decided nothing and we controlled nothing, but we're living that life that comes to us out of nowhere. Now, when you add a bit more visionary power to it, and a bigger, much bigger world of magic and miracles, the rest disappears. That's the magic. As it expands, all the old world just disappears. And it doesn't go up in smoke, it just disappears. And many physical experiments are showing that you can do that now. Where if you get into a certain field, you put your hand in it, you can't see your hand. This is what happens to the world that's out of tune with who we are, it actually disappears. You don't have to force it. You don't have to make a decision. And one person might see that world and another person can't. I always wondered why, whenever I went to a large supermarket or a railway station or even a park, people used to walk straight into me. And there's plenty of room, but they'd always walk straight into me. And I thought, what's up with everyone? Until somebody said, I was looking for you 10 minutes ago and I couldn't see you. Where were you? So I was standing right here. Well, we were looking, couldn't you see? I said, yeah, I waved to you. Quite often, different modes enter our life. And you think you should be visible, but for some reason you're not. This is what's going to happen a lot in our life, because those that you don't need to see, you won't see. And it'll get to the point where you'll be able to walk through them without running into them. We're gradually getting a handle on how there are multiple dimensions and multiple existences, different stories happening in different planes, all at the one time. Right here where we are now, there's movement that sometimes distracts me. And I'm sure it's the same for everyone. And you'll see something walk past, even though if you got your camera out, there'd be nothing. So be willing to open a little further and have that little bit of opportunity to live a crazy life, to extend into all the stuff without it being stuff, without it being something you hang over your head or say, wow, you're crazy. Allow yourself to live it, talk about it, feel it, and we'll get it to be as big as it needs to be. So we all fit, and there's no headbutting, and there's always another way. No matter what it is, there's always another way. That's the greatest thing with magic. No matter what comes up, there's always another way. So settle into the future, make it bigger and better than you can ever know, and you'll have the time of your life. Every minute that we spend in this world is in preparation for not another world, but for the world that we can't see at the moment. We have the opportunity to develop ourselves to the point where we don't have to leave any world. And we can decide to be this shape or another shape or whatever. And that's where we're headed. That was what we were promised, to be in the world of our Creator. And the world of your Creator is a complex world, driven by the program called simplicity. So the simpler it is, the more complexity you can handle. And even that's logical. But in fact, each time you apply simplicity, you apply it less so that you get more. That's the one that goes outside the realms of the brain, but it works. So the slightest movement, slightest inflection, the slightest expression of joy goes everywhere. All the downward movement disappears in a fraction of a second because you just simply went, oh, and it's all gone. A little smile, the right inflection behind it. There's no intention, it just shoots out a signal and changes everything. And that's the power of the world of magic and miracles. You don't have to go and learn any tricks. You're a major trickster as it is. And everyone is tricking everybody into thinking that's how life is, and it's not. So trick everybody into, this is how life is. This is how brilliant it is. Just by the tiniest little movement, I can change you all. I can make you all smile just by going, And there you go. That's the elevation we're looking for. That's the whole sense of our being and the lightness that we offer one another. So all the serious talk becomes a joy, because you get so serious you start laughing at one another. You really look at someone and they're getting really serious and you just go, and they burst out laughing because you can. So further we go, the more great influence we have on the beauty of every moment. The tiniest things are the strongest and the most important. A simple look at somebody with a twinkle in your eye changes their life forever. What's that twinkle in your eye? You can't explain it, but you know it's the most powerful thing ever to be released in any part of the universe. So the sparkle in your eye will light up that main spark in everybody's heart, and it will effervescent. It will be effervescent, I can't think of the right word, but it'll just go through you like you won't believe. And you can't turn it off because you don't want to. It's just such a magic feeling. And you might not even know the person that looked at you. But it switches everything on. Doesn't matter if you're a 100-year-old or 10-year-old. Boom, everything's on. Your world is alive, your body's alive, you as a being have been recognized. So as we move further into that recognition, we'll start to be able to tell one another what we see. You talk about clairvoyance. In fact, we all see very, very much more than that. But we're looking for familiarity of someone's world before they'll accept it. But if you look at someone, you'll know, wow, they're going good. They're going great. Oh, they've got a great future. You go the other way, you're clairvoyant. You tell everybody what's wrong. This is the way to go, to tell everybody what's right. But you don't have to tell them, you just transmit it. That's where the magic comes. And it's in our field, in our communication system, in our ability to surpass time. So you want to know something about yourself? Just look in someone's eye for a few seconds. And bang, you've got it all. And you don't have to convert it into words. It's a feeling, a knowing, it's an excellence. And if you don't feel it good, just get your program out, tear it up, and say, I'm not going to run that one anymore. Because that's the overlay program that you have total control over. And the easiest way to fix it is to tear it up. Our next period in life will seem like it's 100 years long, and it'll go in a fraction of a second. Because the whole lot is available to you, and it's available because you've expanded the world of magic and miracles. Because you've dared to let all the limits melt away, or bubble off, or do whatever they've got to do, and you're not interested. And that's the big one. As soon as you're not interested in all those things, they actually disappear. As soon as you're not interested in doing what you know is not the best part of life, it disappears. You watch, your whole world changes, all your circumstances change. And the things that you see are different to what other people see. And the opportunities that are yours stand out like a big sign, and nobody else can see them. And it's going to happen for everyone, because we like that little bit of mischief, where we have something up in front of someone and say, see, and they go, see what? What are you holding? You say, that's a sign, read it. And everyone looks at it and you say, you're crazy, you've got no sign there. But if someone says, oh yeah, I've got it, boom, they got the message straight away. So as soon as you allow the impossible, it appears from nowhere. When the impossible appears, the signal that you get comes out as a smile. You wonder why you're smiling. Because you've got something that you know about and nobody else knows. And that's what we like to do. When we were children, we'd run around and say, I got a secret, I got a secret, I'm not going to tell you. And we love to do that. And we're doing it every day of our life. We're just getting better at holding a miserable face to say, I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to show you anything. And that's the art that we're now going to turn into magic and miracles. So that interface with the world, with one another, is just getting better and better as it gets more open. So we're going to have a little break and be back in about 5 minutes with some more interesting stuff. Thank you. Welcome back. One of the things that I like to do at this stage is to get everyone to just feel the fact that a slight break makes a difference. It starts to stabilize you at some spot where you know you are. And so it's easy to feel a sense of calmness, but not so sparkly. And that's where it's important to disturb every moment. So you just do whatever you want to do, and up comes the energy again. And it's not flat anymore. And as you look at someone with a bit of sparkle in your eye, they come alive. And you look at the trees, or you walk around and you look at anything and you connect with it, bingo, your engine starts. So one of the most important things in everybody's life is to start your engine over and over and over if it stops. And you start it 1,000,000 times a day, you've used up about 5 seconds, because it doesn't take much. It's just a bingo and you're there. This gets you past that habit of sinking into a hole, so that you're always light and bubbly, and you're always like Tinkerbell. It doesn't matter if you're a big man, really heavy, solid. I've seen particularly the men on the islands walk around as if they're on a cloud, and they're so sparkly and move, and they're light. So the habit of sinking into a mud hole is what makes you generally feel heavy. So as you disturb the moments, that will disappear. And that's what's going to expand the magic and miracles. It seems initially like that's an effort, but when you do it a few times, you can't stop yourself, because it's simple and it's automatic. And it's a damn good feeling. There's not one moment in anybody's life where they should not be way on top of the world, flitting around, gentle, excited, exuberant, because there's nothing to stop it. Only the downward spiral that's caused when you turn your engine off. You get an aeroplane, you don't turn your engine off. You get in a downward spiral and it comes to a big halt. But you tend to do it as a person. So why I like to express that straight after a break, so you can see that we were going really well, and then 5 minutes later, we're up a higher level, but we're still sitting in the mud. Different sort of mud, but we've just sort of decided to settle into it. So don't settle for anything. Don't exclude anything. And it's usually caused by you think you have a decision to make. But nobody's got any decisions to make. Just keep going. Like if a person stops in the middle of the road to decide on something, they're going to get run over. And the same thing happens with our movement. As soon as you stop, everyone piles into one another, and you end up with a miserable situation. So when it's all sparkly and above all things, you just disturb the moment again, and nobody runs into anyone. No thoughts clash, no nothing. It's just because your spirit is just moving everywhere, and it's as soon as you follow it, it happens to you. So in the next 24 hours, you'll notice the world of magic and miracles starts to show its signals to you in big text. So you'll know, whoops, I'm supposed to use magic for that, not manipulate it into a corner. I'm supposed to use magic for that, not to go out and try and get it. The things that you do over a period to try and end up with a certain result determine that part of your life that creates the tendency to think you have to work. You might go to work, but if you use the magic, you only look like you're working. Everything falls into place. People cooperate so much that it seems like at the end of the day, you may have done 10 minutes work. The rest of the time you're just enjoying yourself. So the nature of things changes. And because of that, the opportunities change. And we're right in the middle now of where we all can decide we're at a crossroad, or we can decide our life's going to change, or we can decide anything, because it's in that place where we can. I suggest you do nothing. Just enjoy yourself, follow your spirit, and watch what happens. Because that is how you recognize simplicity. When you're at that point when you can make a decision, but you don't. You allow the magic to form up and take you to wherever it's got to go. And you end up at a place that was not part of your decision. So you didn't have to have this or that. You have both, and you have something better at the same time. That's what the universe does for you. But only if you use magic and miracles as the format. Every person's life is based on having a structure. But if you throw that structure away, you live. You keep going with the structure, you deteriorate because it's fixed. We are totally dynamic beings. Even our cells replace themselves so often that, we think we'd fall apart, but we don't. But we're totally dynamic in every sense. So anything that's fixed is going to deteriorate. Just like the paint on the wall, it's going to deteriorate because it's fixed. But if you allow the paint to be as mobile as you are, it'll last forever. It'll stay moist and it won't fall apart. And it'll always look good. And they're the things that society says, oh no, that's not possible. I know paint only lasts for 10 years or less if you want anything nice. And the colours they deteriorate. I can assure you, you can change that. You can make those colours sparkle every day for as long as you want. And you can get the tone to change because what you reflect off it changes the tone. There are many, many, many magical things you can do with the physical world. It's not just what comes out of nowhere. So as you spread your wings and you become more and more like Tinkerbell, You don't hesitate to give it a sparkle, to tap someone on the head with a little wand and watch them all go fuzzy, to do the most childish things that don't affect anybody on the surface, but change everyone's life. To decide to make a difference takes maybe half a millisecond, but you don't need to decide because you already did that. You did that when you first came here, or when you're a child, or when you decided to go a different direction. You've made that one decision that you're following all the time. So you don't have to make any more decisions. It's made. You just go with it. And you don't have to remember what it is because it's already in that formula of simplicity. The only time you know you're not following that formula of simplicity is when you feel uncomfortable. And you're uncomfortable because you're not following your spirit. Or you went and sat in the mud too long and can't get up. So a little sparkle from someone, or a look at someone, or just a crazy wave, or anything is enough in the world of magic and miracles, because it's more powerful than anything you can do in a whole lifetime. Every time I sit down to talk, I say to people, I have no idea what I'm going to say now. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea about what's going to come. But I do know it's going to come. I do know that there'll be a flow through me because I sat down to talk. Just like when you have a conversation. You start to talk, you have a conversation, you interact, and you have no plan. You're just doing it. And you do it sometimes all day, every day. This is what we can do with magic. We can create magic every second of every day, just like a conversation. We're looking around for more magic to do. We're looking around for someone to talk to. We're looking around at everything around us and how can I change that? And you just send it some magic, send it some sparkles, send it a bit of your essence, and allow yourself to stretch beyond what you think would be called crazy. Once you stretch beyond that, life is so beautiful that you cannot stop celebrating. And of course that brings more jobs for everyone. The more we celebrate, the more people can service one another. The more we start to interact in a whole different way. That life becomes supported by the action of celebration, not by the action of sales. So we can just twist the world around a little bit and it's got a different view on it straight away. And it's not a method, it's just an observation. So one of the things we're going to do in the near future is develop some more physical things that everyone can play with. Some more power assist units, some more wands, some more nano plates, some more things that we know are actually working, that give people relief, that make your house feel better, make you feel better. And our intention is to get everybody so that they can produce what they want for themselves, and those who can't will produce for them. It's not like a business, it's like this is our direction. This is how this entity around us is growing. It's growing so that we're sort of supporting one another at a distance to grow to where all these magic things can support our life. Independent of dollars, we're all feeling good. And our well-being is being secured. Our health is so much better. And our interest in what used to be thought impossible is now growing to where we know we can make a difference without moving one finger. So we used to call it healing, but now it's life. This is life. This is what we do. This is what everybody does. They transmit and receive all sorts of things from one another to maintain a perfect life. So remember, we started off a long time ago saying, I offer you a perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. That's my gift to you. This is what everybody came here with, that gift for everyone else. And as soon as you give it to everybody else, you get it back 10,000 times. You hang on to it yourself, it doesn't do anything because it's somebody else's present. And so as we move further into the world of magic and miracles, you can see that that little saying was something that formed the platform, the elevated platform of living that we can all take off from. The gentleness that comes out of that and the excitement at the same time is what drives our engine. And at one point, I actually drew how that all happens and how it all relates to your own personal music, how it relates to what is solid around you and what's not solid, how you can make things flexible, and that's why people can bend spoons, how you can change the surface of the earth to be malleable and not crack and blow up on you. And we went past all that to where we just said, well, let's just live life and have it all that way. And then we entered the world of magic and miracles. And the industry of magic and miracles is our industry. If you don't think you can do it, well, that's probably a job for us. If you can see that it's impossible, oh, that's interesting. But you don't attack it physically. You come from all the dimensions that have influence on whatever you're looking at until you find the dimension that can actually shift it. And once you find that dimension, you just sparkle it a little bit and everything changes. So as we go into this next week, here in California, we've got a little bit more rain. The ground's going to replenish itself. The fear of losing all our water will disappear. The plants are growing. And we've all got time to sit and do nothing because it rains. So in that time, realize the world has just decided to do what we're doing. Isn't that strange? And in fact, that's how it works. As we become gentle and sparkly and self-sufficient, so does the world, without any mechanical input. So feel that during this next week. Encourage the earth itself to be malleable, to start to regenerate, and to be the image that we see when we go other places. That beautiful beach with the white sands and palm trees that we can all go to, white pebbles, beautiful countryside we can go to. That's our reality, and we maintain that reality, the world will copy it. So for now, I think that's about all I can come up with. I want you all to enjoy, to practice the sparkling of anything. I don't care if it's your little dog. Just do anything that's comfortable for you. It doesn't matter if it's in the closet, in the bathroom, out in the street, in the paddock, or in front of everyone. You'll get a smile. You'll get a smile from yourself, and you'll get a smile from somewhere else. So if I can just leave you with a big smile in your heart and a great vision of your future, I think it's going to be a great year. Thank you. We'll see you next week.